I never want to be between a girl's legs if I'm not going to have sex with her. Welcome to the On the Edge podcast with your host, Scott Groves. So for people that don't know, can you explain what slap fighting is?
You could explain it better because you're the assistant coach.
Oh, so we just have to face, and the main point is about you have to let your opponent to slap you. And the question is if you can't take it. If you can't take it, then you get a chance to. So
this is open hand slap. You just stand there.
Yes.
And somebody hits you as hard as they can.
Behind you, and you have to wait for it,
Yeah, they were wild making up the rules, though, like the weekend before.
There's something to me, there's something kind of like neurotic and crazy about seeing guys do this. But then when I see girls do it, I'm like, why? Why? You're such pretty girls. Like, why would you want somebody to slap you that? Like, haven't we spent like 100 years working on
if
feminism?
If you just were pretty girls, we would be average.
Okay, so you guys volunteer for it. Did you get paid for it? Or was it like just to make meme-worthy content?
No, we got paid.
Okay,
yeah,
so you got paid.
But we both did it because we were like, what if we're really good at it?
I would like to get slapped for free, too.
I told you. Telling you.
No, I'm teasing you, man.
I don't think so. I don't think you're teasing me at all. I think maybe in the privacy.
After Kortney slapped me, I realized, actually, I like it.
I saw, and that's what the thing was, right? Because I told her the night before, I was like, listen, bitch, let's go like 50%. Like, you pro wrestling.
What is 50%?
Right? And I'm like, let's just lean into this shit. Because once you start seeing the cotton balls come out, it gets real. And you're like,
explain the cotton balls.
So they put cotton balls in your ear so you don't, like, blow up your eardrum. Yeah, blow up your eardrum to keep the sound vibration in. And it's like, this just got real. And so she's on her crazy ass fucking Hungarian voice. I hope my adrenaline doesn't kick in. And I'm like, yeah, me too, bitch. And so I won the coin toss, and I was like, all right, because then I'd injured my. Sheena and I both do a ton of stuff: arm wrestling. We pick dudes up and carry them around. Yeah. Like we injure ourselves a lot, and I injured my right arm wrestling 2 weeks prior. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna hit you with my left. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, I saw the fucking blinds go down in her eyes, and I was
that's
like,
what I have no control over.
Yeah.
She
that's
could tell you
like
about
you see
it.
red, you go crazy.
Yeah, I forget that I'm facing her.
Yeah.
That time.
Oh, you forgot? You don't remember it?
No, when I get slapped, it's something I get like, I don't know, like the surviving mood.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Because it was a trigger for
the
me.
Lizard brain just comes out.
It was a trigger from my back to past. I have some bad experiences.
She's got some daddy issues, hey?
Got it.
That made her a fucking bad bitch.
Ex-boyfriends mostly. And
yeah.
I was surrounded with narcissist people.
I would be so scared to abuse you if I was your boyfriend because
that would be the worst day of your
I'm
life.
pretty sure you would just snap my neck. So is that why you're so big?
You want to try it? You want to be my boyfriend for a day?
I don't know. Sure don't.
Do you offer the girlfriend experience?
Yeah. Not only am I happily married, love you, Karina.
Love you, Karina.
But yeah, you're too strong for me. You're too strong. So okay, so you decided to go first, and I'm guessing you said, "Fuck it, I'm going to use my right hand" because I just saw this lady turn into a killer.
No. I went first, hit her with my left, and then I saw the blinds go down. And she is like you said, world champion in judo. Yeah. So I was the night before, slightly dicking around hitting a pool noodle because I reached out to this guy named the Crazy Hawaiian something or another. He was in another slap fighting league. And he said, yeah, I get a pool noodle because I'm like, how the fuck do you train for this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? And, I was stressed out because I'm like, you can't move your feet and, hitting directly on the face and whatever. And so I I was like, all right, I'll go first. Hit her with my left. And like I said, as soon as I saw that shit, I was like, it's game over.
When you hit her, she kind of turned into the Terminator. Like, you could see her face come back and snap, and she's like, I'm going to kill you now, bitch.
Oh, yeah, and the slow-mo, it was like, like, her face was just like, oh, you fucking cunt. Like, you could tell. I'm like, yep, cool, here it comes. And I even went like this. All right, let's get this over with. Yeah. I, stuck my neck out. I'm like, fuck it. And then I had spent all of January and February not sleeping because I'm in perimenopause. and no.
The fuck is perimenopause?
Right. Thank you. Right. Ask your wife.
Okay.
Perimenopause is a phase of women's life. Like, we all hear about our first period, but we're not taught about our second or our last period. And it can happen for up to 10 years for women. And it's when your estrogen spikes and drops. And so for me, I didn't have enough progesterone, which is like a man's testosterone. It's like our feel-good hormone, which helps us sleep, everything. And no hormone replacement therapy clinic for 2 years could fucking figure it out. So I'd go through these cycles where I wouldn't sleep. And I mean, I was just a shell of a woman. Like, it was, it's like when you don't sleep, right? The whole acronym, hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
Yeah.
When I'm tired, forget about it. Like, that's all bad. So anyway.
And you had also the business. Also,
yeah, just stress.
Like everything.
Yeah.
Broke. Everything came together.
Yeah. So it's darkest before the dawn. And so anyway, and I, she I saw her fucking dip down. And I'm like, dear God, Christ save me. And it was funny because it hit, and the only thing I knew next was I was sitting on the floor, and I was like, oh, you motherfucker. And so then it was like I felt what you felt, and I'm like, it's on, bitch. I'm like, all right, bitch. Here we go. As soon as I stood up, it was lights out, and then I passed out. Yeah, and then I did that fucking forward roll. So I went from like being the woman with the world's deadliest thighs, thanks Stan Lee, to Sonic the Hedgehog.
Hey, this quick interruption is brought to you by me, Scott Groves, the host of the On the Edge podcast. This podcast is brought to you by me. I'm a loan officer who can help you with a mortgage in all 50 states across the United States. I also coach loan officers. So if you are a home buyer who's looking to get a mortgage, if you're a realtor who's looking to partner with an awesome loan officer, or if you're a loan officer looking for coaching, get in touch with me. It's those sources of revenue that allow us to produce this podcast and get out a new episode to you every week for the last couple of years. So if you're looking for a mortgage, if you're looking for a mortgage lender to partner with, or you're looking for a mortgage coach, I'm your guy. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. I enjoy watching it. I don't know the first thing of it, but I remember I was at a jiu-jitsu class where one of the guys was a white belt and he was a judo black belt. And he was just launching fuckers. I'm like, white belt my ass, dude. I'm not going with you. And he's like, yeah, I have a little bit of judo experience. I'm like, how much? He's like, oh, like 13 years. I'm a black belt. I was like, oh, you sandbagging motherfucker.
Judo fighters are humble.
Yeah. He was actually very humble, I'm sure. But it was weird because like,
you motherfucker.
he showed me some things where it's just these little shifts of the toes, right? Like you just barely change your foot position and all of a sudden they're getting launched over your hip. And it didn't even make sense to me. Like I couldn't conceptualize how such little movements,
the grip and everything till you're gonna get the throw. It's a long way. There's so many movements was built on the other till you're gonna get this, because if you grip here, you know that he or she gonna grip this way, and then you're gonna get that, but he going to step here or move here, and then you are maybe ready for the throw. But if you're gonna throw, he may do the contra technique on that way, and they're gonna finish him in that way. And you know already from the beginning what you're going to do. So you finish on that way with all his reactions.
I'll just do jiu-jitsu on jiu-jitsu I can just lay on him. I can just be fat. Like that's
smash and pass.
If I get to the top position, I just lay there and I'm like, all right, now I can think. So that's way too technical for me. Yeah. But is that how you grew up? Judo all the time? Like what other sports did you play?
So when I turned to 20, I was like, judo is getting like really intense and too much. I didn't want to get burned out. So I started joining some freestyle wrestling too, because I just love martial arts. I love fighting. I love the body contact. I love to feel the others. I like to sweat together, like training hard and everything. So I started doing some wrestling and I really liked it. And I was like, oh, I could be good in that. But I started too late because I'm not really good to protect my legs. I'm getting better now, but not like world level class.
Right.
I won a national championship and few, like every year I get placed, but I also won once.
Wait, you won a national championship in freestyle wrestling and you didn't start till you were 20?
Yes, when I started in 20. Judo is a very good basement.
Yeah, no, I get it, but I know some kids that were wrestling because I was an average wrestler in high school.
And wrestling. We are ready. We have so many Olympic
You like the
champions.
Iranians, like you just everybody breathes
and
fighting.
on the final, I always was going against a world champion girl.
From Iran, probably, right? I'm telling you, man, the Iranians.
But when I
wrestle
won,
like...
she was in different category. That's why I was able to win.
Perfect. So, Kortney, what about you? What's your sports background other than breaking watermelons with your thighs, which you should tell everybody what that's about? But what was your athletic like pedigree?
Oh, everything. I was just a tomboy. Which we're losing all of our tomboys, and it feels like now, but that's another story. But yeah, I grew up skiing, basketball, cheerleading, if you can believe that one. And then I got into arm wrestling.
You were the base, right? Like,
that's exactly right.
So you were competing in arm wrestling?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I mean, I'm Australia's first female champion, but that's only because there was like 4 women there. And
so wait, are you Australian?
No, I'm from Eureka, California.
Okay.
Bumfuck Egypt. Can we say that anymore?
Yeah, totally.
Whatever.
Bumfuck
Egypt.
Fine. Yeah. The Egyptians have a weaker military than us. I feel like we can make fun of it. We basically just can't make fun of the Russians or the Chinese because their military actually can fight back. But so what were you doing in Australia?
That's where I met my husband.
Okay.
And so...
Are people shocked when they find out you have a husband?
Yes. Yes, they are. Everybody thinks I'm gay.
Yeah, of course. Because you have the hipster tattoos. Yeah. You're super buff. You have a short haircut. Like I would also assume.
We can tell them.
Yeah.
Francesca can change you. She can turn you. That's like
I'm not going to hide you no more. Understand? Bring us together, right?
All right, so I have to ask, is your husband like a power lifter, big motherfucker as well? Or are you married to like a 140-pound accountant?
He was when I met him. He was a shell of a man. He actually played for Hull City. He played soccer. He played a few games. He sat the bench for most of the time. But yeah, when I met him, he was, your typical English pub crawling, sports watching, but I got him into the gym, and now he's obsessed with it.
How exactly do you fall for a potbelly pub crawling ex-soccer player? Like I picture you like you've got to be with like a Schwarzenegger type looking dude.
Yeah, it's all about the energy. It's like with women. Like I am attracted to women. I'd say 20% out of 80%. But she's got to have the personality. It's got to have the energy, right. So same with guys. It's like if the energy is there, it doesn't matter necessarily what they look like. And he was remarkable. It's a crazy love story.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So you grow up playing a bunch of myriad of sports. You did pro arm wrestling, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But then you start crushing watermelons with your thighs.
Yes. So we're in this amazing industry. I mean, I don't actually know when she started. I'm like 10 years older than Sheena, and I think I started in 2009.
And by the way, for the people that don't know, Francesca's pro wrestling name is Sheena.
Sheena.
And you do pro wrestling as well, right?
Very little.
Okay.
Very little. So I've dabbled in it.
Okay.
It's hard.
So 10 years ago when you were powerlifting.
Yeah. So I stumbled into this world where I saw an ad on Craigslist and it said muscular calf video shoot. Ballerinas and athletes must apply. It was like $100 an hour. Because at the time I was doing like topless photography because I was strung out on pain pills, and I was an internet sales manager at a car dealership, and I hated my job.
Wait. So powerlifting, internet sales manager, strung out on pills.
Yes.
Doing topless titty shoots for money.
Yeah, and clearly, like, I mean, you have the tits for it, so.
Yeah, I mean, no offense, but I have bigger tits.
You do.
Yeah. Did you used to have fake tits? Is that?
No, not even then. It was.
People wanted to see the masculine.
I guess.
Itty bitty titty committee.
Yeah, there's a whole market for it. There's something for any women listening. Whatever you hate about your body, there's some dude out there paying for it on the internet.
Oh, for sure. Oh shit.
Yeah, that's probably some girl calling right now.
No, that's my old man alarm to take my vitamins. Like. Go take your pills, Scott, and go to bed.
Relatable.
Yeah. My wife's like, I'm going to be in Mexico for a week. Should I set an alarm for your nighttime pills?
I'm like, my God.
I love her.
She's the best. My wife is the best.
That's
by the
awesome. We got leggings for her.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so you go to be a calf model. And by the way, this is so crazy. The strung out on pills, does that come from being a power lifter, or were you just a drug addict?
I was bodybuilding. So I hadn't really gotten into powerlifting, and I still don't call myself a powerlifter. I mean, I do.
Okay, bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I kind of use the term interchangeably because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Like it's sharp.
Yeah. So neither of you consider yourself a dominatrix, but you squeeze humans and lemon and watermelons between your legs and crush them for money, and you whip people and wear latex sometimes for money. So how does this work? How do you find these clients? Like somebody signs up for your $19 a month OnlyFans and like starts building a relationship, and then they're like, hey, for $1,500, I'd really like you to choke me out with your thighs.
No, I have a website.
Oh, what's the website?
SheenaWrestler.com.
Okay, we're going to put that. SheenaWrestling.com?
SheenaWrestler.com.
SheenaWrestler.com. Okay, we're going to get all their social media, Chris, before they go. But how has that worked for you? Like, how do people find you for this?
There's a couple of central websites that are out there. It's still very low,
If
low
they
ground.
they're going to find it.
They're going to know where it is.
They'll find it.
They know where it is.
They'll find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's like some off the grid fetish clubs in Vegas that I've heard of. I've not been to, of course, but like
we're probably working at one tomorrow night.
Yes,
you know stuff.
Yeah, we'll talk about that offline. I've heard about a couple places where I'm like, oh, that shit really exists.
Actually, you're familiar for me. Didn't you book me like 2 years ago?
It all comes out. It all comes out.
Now it all makes sense.
It's not the template.
Yeah. Luckily, my wife doesn't watch the podcast.
I'm kidding.
So.
I'm kidding, wifey. I never saw it. What's your name?
Although I think couples is like a new market for me, because I did this for like 4 years and then took 6 years off because I started working with teenagers and then built girl clothing, and then I got back into it because I wasn't taking a paycheck from girl.
Yeah. Hey, tell us about Girl Power, by the way. Girl clothing.
Yeah, it's a
GRRL.
3 R's.
3 R's.
Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah. Ooh, you said that right. You could be a voiceover actor. It's athletic. I hate clothing. It's not my thing, but we make athletic apparel for women for all sizes. So we go all the way up to like the equivalent of a 7X down to an XS, and we use athletes' names and body types because women are generally, want to be smaller. And growing up, I wanted to be Kate Moss. I wanted to have a thigh gap. And I was
you're never going to look like Kate Moss.
My fucking forearm is the size of her leg. But it was the late 80s, early 90s, and that's what I equated. I mean, ultimately, it was from growing up with an alcoholic parent, right? That's where the root is. But what the surface level was me trying to control my body and thinking that was what was going to cause me worthiness and so on and so forth. And so I went straight to meth my senior year of high school as the Associated Student Body President, started the first girls golf team, forgot to mention golf, was in a Christian rock band. I could go on and on.
And went to meth.
Went straight to meth and did that. And then by the age of 21 had been, sexually assaulted, eating disorders, diagnosed with depression, and was a full-blown drug addict and alcoholic and in rehab at 21. And that was all driving force because I wanted to be skinny. So in creating this brand, because prior to that, it was a program for teenage girls called Camp Confidence, because I wanted to teach them everything I wish we were taught in school, like how to be fucking happy, self-defense, how to shake a hand and say no and feel good about it. Because prior to that, my husband was the CEO of a national rugby team, and I had just come out of the industry, and I had a clip store on clips for sale, not clit, clips for sale.
What are clips?
So clips.
What is clips for sale?
Yeah, it's not a real thing. So clips for sale, right?
You know that there is like not OnlyFans, OnlyFeet.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Oh, you didn't know more stuff.
I didn't know that.
I didn't
Only
know
because
either.
we interviewed a girl named Lacey who does OnlyFans, and she's like, yeah, feet are like a big
huge.
thing.
It's super huge.
And then she's the one that told me about the financial dominance of like people paying her $50 a day to send her a new dick pic every day from a different angle for her to shit on them about how ugly their dick is. And I was like,
wild.
That's wild. Somebody's giving you $1,500 a month to insult their dick. She's like, yeah, multiple people are.
It's absurd.
No, you know why they pay? Because at least they get respond. At least they get respond. Usually women ignoring dick pictures because it doesn't work on that. No, it doesn't work on that way. Like guy get the pussy pictures like, oh, I love it. We are like, what the fuck is fucking gross? So we delete.
Dicks are pretty gross.
And if they pay, can I get some response? Like,
yeah, I mean, I'd look at dick pics for money.
Right?
What do I care?
Fuck it.
I mean, market's slow right now. But
answer
anyway,
your question.
Yeah.
Clips for sale was like prior to OnlyFans. So you'd load video clips of all sorts of different fetishes. And one of the biggest ones is mixed wrestling, women and men wrestling. And so anyways, had content on there, nothing that was like topless even. It was like me, you know, beating men arm wrestling and laughing at him because humiliation is a big thing. And then a reporter found that. And so guilt by association, they wrote a headline that said CEO hires ex-fetish porn star wife to train the under 20s, because he brought me on to train the rugby 18s. And so this headline got syndicated around the world. I mean, it was New Zealand, India, Denmark, fucking all over. And I'm like, how is this news? Like, this is not, it's not true. Like, I'm not a porn star. Like, to me, a porn star is taking dicks in the ass and all the rest of it. You know what I'm saying?
Traditional stuff.
Yeah. Like, I missed that paycheck. But anyway, go on. And I had applied with Big Brother, Big Sister the day before this story broke, because I wanted to mentor a teenage girl. So all this shit blew up and the media just had a heyday with me. And then from there I said, you know what, fuck you. I'm going to start my own program ran by people who've been there and done that. And that's where Camp Confidence came from. And then we did that for a few years, and it burnt me out working with these teenage girls, because they're literally cutting themselves. Yeah. Cutting their fucking skin because they think they're ugly and disgusting, and they're 13, 14, 15. And I'm like, you're our future leaders. And I'd sit them down and I'd be like, look the fuck here. Like, have you ever heard of Malala, who got shot in the fucking head because she didn't want to get off the bus? You know, or watch the stoning of Soraya M., this woman who got accused of adultery, put in her wedding gown, buried up to her waist because her husband wanted a new fucking wife. And
stoned her to death.
Yeah, and her father is the first one to throw rocks at her, stoned her to death. Like, pull your head out of your ass. Like, let's like she's saying, you know what I mean? Like, we've lost our way. Like, what's become important and what we've fucking, like, social media has destroyed us. Great things have come. Look, 3 of us are sitting here. Right. We wouldn't have met without it. Right. Do you know what I mean? There's pros and cons to everything in life, just like with everything that's going on around in every possible scenario in the world right now, I suppose. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a fine line we walk, but we would love to recruit more women to understand that you guys don't give a fuck what cellulite you see when we're bent over. You know what I'm saying? Because the shit that women sit and obsess about, it's really not an issue for the other half of the population. And, you know, we get so stuck in this imprisonment of like not good enough. And it's like, you could be training your body, training your mind, and knowing that whatever you hate about your body, go look up fucking saggy tits on Pornhub. You'll find pages and pages of it, of porn. Like, people, whatever you hate about yourself, people are out there looking for it, you know? And that it's okay for men to come and to be on the other side of the coin, and you can still be, you know, be yourself and be comfortable in your own skin, and yet come and submit to a strong woman. Like, gender dynamics can be complicated, but they don't need to be that complicated.
I would say pretty complicated if a guy's paying to have their breath choked out of them by your thighs. So, like, I know you have girl power, and you're, I only bring this up because you're very, very vulnerable on your social media, that you guys have been looking for funding for girl power, and it's pissing you off, and you know you have this $1 million brand, and you just need some growth money. And so I've got to ask, like, with social media, OnlyFans, this kind of random shit that you guys do, is it carving out a living for you guys? Or is it like just some...
I just started like a month ago.
Okay.
The OnlyFans.
Yeah. We both had it, but we weren't publicly advertising it.
Now I do it.
Now we're like, fuck it. And I think is empowering.
This is what is me.
Yeah.
You know, and like Kortney said too, not everything was on our decision that we get here, but the life bring us to some experience and circumstances, so we landed here.
Yeah.
And we have to accept and love our past, our struggles, our traumas. And actually, I'm grateful for all of them that I become this, you know. And this is what it is. And from this, look what she built up. She has her huge brand, you know. She's a leader. She's inspiring so many people. She stand up for them, you know.
And I was your age when I started, so you're about to take off, baby girl.
I gotta ask the other question that everybody's gonna roll their eyes if I don't ask. Steroids, growth hormone, like, you two are unnaturally.
Oh, they are my friend.
They are your friends?
I've done 2 cycles. I did
2 cycles in your entire life?
Yeah, 1 cycle in 2015. I did my first physique show, and then after she knocked me the fuck out.
You're like, I gotta get back on that horse?
Yeah, I got jacked. Yeah, I got on Primo April 2022.
What is Primo?
Primo is...
I don't have to explain. Yeah, my English.
I know. It's an androgen.
Okay.
But it's like one of the less anabolic ones, I suppose.
Mild ones for women.
Yeah, it's not like
steroids for her.
You're right.
I love it.
And I mean, I took a shot of test in Bali once for my libido, and it was fucking great. We were fucking in the back of the Jeep. I was rubbing one out in the back of the cab. I'm like, dudes have got it good.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't had a libido since I was like in my late 20s. And but aside from that, like if I got on test, because I'm an addict, my concern was that I would morph into, because
a
you know,
dude?
Yes, you know, it's hard because you see women and you respect how much work goes into it.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, you know, it just crosses that line of, and whatever, to each their own. They're happy, but it does destroy their health.
The femininity.
Well, the femininity for sure, but also a lot of women die young, you know, as do men, you know, and it causes a lot of problems, especially now with fucking the vaccine. And I encourage everybody listening to this to watch Died Suddenly if you have gotten the vaccine, just so you can be a little bit more motivated to take charge in your life and do something about your fitness. Stop drinking, stop smoking, because we are all being poisoned. They're trying to kill us every fucking direction we look. You're going to charge $14,000 for a Tylenol in the emergency room? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Fuck our country for that.
The biggest tragedy of COVID to me was like, what an opportunity on a national stage for everybody to talk about everybody getting healthier.
Right.
Like, hey, okay, COVID's a real thing. It's killing weak people. It's killing the old people. Yeah. Maybe there needs to be a vaccine. Maybe there doesn't. But at a base level, just be
vitamin D. Yeah, get your fucking
metabolically healthier. Which is funny because I just asked you about steroids, so people are probably rolling their eyes. Oh, this bitch's on steroids. She's not healthy. But then you made a joke. You said steroids are my friend.
No, I mean, like, I'm not going to hide. I did. Yeah. Like, I was a bodybuilder in the past.
What were you at your biggest? Because I've seen some pictures of both of you where your thighs, I'm like, holy fuck, man. So what at your biggest, like, what were you weight wise or strength wise or?
So when I started bodybuilding, it was like 4 years ago, maybe my first competition, and I tried naturally first. Yeah. And I was training harder than any girls, you know, and I saw like I didn't get really placed. I was in the European Championship in IFBB, and I got from 9th place, and I was like, that's it? Yeah. Like, I was working and dieting my ass off.
That shit's so fucked up, though, girl.
And I get so competitive. Like, I want to get this. So then I was like, okay, but then let's change the category. I want to be wellness because they said I already too big for bikini, even I was muscular. So I thought, okay, let's take wellness. And that time I was working with a coach who now I know that his knowledge is like under the ground, you know, like it was nothing. And he put me right away. I didn't take much, like 3 or 4 week cycle. He started with the Winstrol. You know?
That's the heavy hitter shit.
Yes. So after 1 week, I already felt like I'm like, what the fuck is going on with me? And I'm like, I started more asking of my friends. And it's like, you know, do you start with that? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, but I'm very big and I feel bloated. I said, stop it right now. So I stopped there.
Yeah. And for people that don't know, Winstrol, from what I heard, it's like, oh, son, you're about to have your first drink. Let me give you a quadruple whiskey. I mean, it's the heavy hitter shit, right?
Yes. Yeah. So that was which I tried, and then after we just wait that it goes out, and then was like 4 months after that prep, I started take Anavar, and it's light.
Yeah, all the CrossFit girls take Anavar. Like, it's very low androgenic properties, so it's just really shitty for your liver.
And then I had another competition I was preparing for, and I couldn't take like strong steroids, even though I was focusing on the leg muscles, because if I take, I get strong on my upper body. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm naturally was strong always because of judo and wrestling, you know? So I just realized I'm not fitting any of categories because it's the girls, they just have
I hope you go into MMA.
You're still I'm training, and I'm really long time.
Your boobs are too big for MMA.
You know, I can breast mother them.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly right.
No, I'm training, and I'm really long time being like drug free now.
I mean, because judo makes so much sense as a crossover to MMA, right? Like if you can grab onto somebody, you're gonna throw them, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. So now you just need to learn how to punch. And your wrestling is obviously good, so you got good control
now I'm
there.
training in Miami in MMA Masters more than 2 months, and probably soon in this summertime, I'm looking forward for my first MMA fight.
Nice.